Let's say you needed a bunch of sandwiches to take to somebody's house for a special occasion. What would you make? Well, you'd make what we're making today, buddy. Trigger warning, I'm gonna give you the real name for these and I don't want anybody to get saddened or anything. They're called funeral sandwiches. And if, sadly and unfortunately, you've had to go to one for someone you care about recently, I'm sorry. You know what it's like to lose people close to you, and that sucks. On the positive side, if you brought a pan of these funeral sandwiches, the sadness would lift a little bit because they'd be so happy eating them. That's okay, right, Maxie?
Yes.
It's okay. Our sandwiches today will be made out of roast beef. Could be ham, could be any kind of deli meat. We're making roast beef. But what I like is that we're making our own roast beef. Look, you go to the supermarket, you buy that beautiful rosy red deli roast beef. It's sliced, it's fantastic. You are gonna pay anywhere from $15 to $18 or $19 a pound. And if you want to, be my guest. Or you pick up yourself an eye of round for $3.59 a pound. And you make this into that, like that. Okay, it takes a little bit of time, but it's gonna be fantastic. And at $3.59 a pound, you could afford to have a ton of this stuff hanging around the house. You just eat roast beef like King Henry VIII all day long. Don't forget, it's protein. You can eat a shit ton of it. In fact, you'll probably lose weight. You're saving money, losing weight, making people happy at the funeral. Today is a win, win, win. We're gonna get this prepped, seasoned up, and in the oven. Just so you know, I'm not kidding. There's your pricing right there. $3.59 a pound. And we're gonna turn this into a $17 a pound beauty. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Jeez.
We're working here.
I see what's going on. Let me just open this guy up, dry him off, and we'll continue. There you are, 4.5 pounds of eye of round. Now look, some stuff you'll want to clean up right here. We're gonna get rid of a bunch of this fat. We're gonna get rid of the silver skin, which is this stuff here. That's not melting. Fat will melt. This stuff will not melt and you'll just hate it. If I was gonna cook this like a roast and serve it in slices like on a plate, I might want some fat, I might leave that. But for deli roast beef, I'm gonna clean this up, get rid of all of it. I'm gonna use the Sam the Cooking Guy 6-inch boner because it's the best knife ever. Some of the stuff you can just pull off, and the other we're just gonna cut away. So I'm gonna clean this guy up so none of this stuff remains anymore. Make them super pretty. Get rid of the fat, silver skin, and all of it. All right, we're there. This is as much as I'm gonna do. All these little tiny pieces are gonna be fine. Any more is gonna drive me insane. Now we wanna make a little rub to go on this. Here's what the rub will be. We begin with a 1/4 cup of kosher salt, then a tablespoon of ground black pepper, tablespoon of granulated garlic, tablespoon of smoked paprika, the same of cumin, and then a teaspoon of onion powder and a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Could be optional, shouldn't be optional. And this we will mix. And what you've got is one beautiful all-purpose rub. Ask me where it came from.
Where'd it come from?
Thank you for asking, Max. It came from Sam the Cooking Guy and the Holy Grill, my brand new cookbook that comes out March 12th. How exciting. Look that's me all stoic on the cover. By the way, there was a few alternate pictures that we were gonna use here, but when you get your copy, if you get your copy, you can shoot the QR code right there and it says, here's what the cover almost looked like. Allow me to show you a couple of my favorite recipes. Do you like duck? Smoked whole duck. Gorgeous. We got king crab legs on the grill. We've got Kelly's soy and garlic skirt steak. One of her faves. Okay, her fave. Caveman steak, cowboy butter. Brilliant. Beef dino ribs, so good. Chicken souvlaki with tzatziki. This is for those of you that have looked longingly into your backyard and thought, wow, I could do some great things out there if only I knew how. Well, now you can, because this is the kind of stuff that's in this book. Smoking, grilling, all that kind of stuff. Yes, there's some things that don't. Oh, my brother-in-law Bob's curry and fire chicken. Ugh, look how beautiful that is. Pictures by Lucas Barbieri. It comes out March 12th. This recipe is in here along with 100 plus other ones. So hit the link below. You can pre-order it and you can have it in your hot little hands. It'll probably come the 12th.
Hot little hands?
Hot little hands. You're gonna have it in your hot little hands, and owning that will warm the cockles of your heart. So what do you think about that? All right, we got our all-purpose rub. Let's get it on our little eye of round and get it in the oven. And we're back. You don't need this, but I like a little mustard as a binder. It helps the seasoning stick, and I grew up with my mother using mustard on every roast beef she ever made. So I do what my mom did. You won't be disappointed. And you also won't be eating like a mustard roast beef because it just doesn't give that flavor back. It adds flavor, but not in a mustardy sort of way. And now that you've got this, we season. And we can be fairly aggressive because it's a thick hunk of meat. Don't forget the ends and the sides. And when you got this like this, we take a baking sheet with a rack on it, we put that on top, and this kid is ready to go in the oven. I love that rub. My oven's at 500 degrees. I know it's hot. It's only gonna go in for 15 minutes. Then I'm gonna turn it down to 325 degrees and leave it until this guy comes to between 123 and 125 degrees. If I can hit 124 on the nose, I'll do it. 125, nobody will be mad. 123, nobody will be mad. In it goes, you'll see it when it comes out. But don't go away, because for you, it won't take long. It's maybe an hour and a half for me though. And here's our friend. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does this not look like a log? The way the grain goes? It actually looks like a log to me. So here's what we have to do. We let it cool completely. Then I'm gonna wrap it really well. I'm gonna put it in my fridge. And I'm gonna leave it overnight. No, you don't have to wait overnight. Just in a couple seconds, I'll be back. But once it's nice and cold, then we can slice it super thin for our funeral sandwiches. And did I mention that I'm gonna make my own little buns for these? Because I am, and that will happen now. Welcome back to the next day. The next day for us, not for you guys. Our eye of round has been in the refrigerator for now close to 24 hours. I could use it right now, but I wanna make my own little rolls for these funeral sandwiches. If you saw the 4 burgers we did just recently, 4 burgers under $5 each, by the way, you saw me make my own brioche rolls. I didn't want to go through the whole thing, but here's the dough, and rather than make this into larger ones, I'm gonna make this into smaller slider ones. Never done this, so if this is a failure, you'll see some store-bought things show up here in a little bit, but I think we're gonna be okay. I just have to turn this into the little rolls, get them in a pan, and let them start to rise a little bit. So here we go. Here. First up, we're gonna prep the pan. And we're gonna do that by spreading some butter nicely across the bottom and up the sides. We don't want nothing sticking, do we, boys? A brioche is a buttery, delicious roll, so a little extra butter, it ain't hurting nobody. Right, now to the dough. We go like this. A little flour down first. I love doing that. And then out comes our dough. Look how pretty. A little bit more on top. And this we're just gonna knead for a couple minutes. Smooth it out a bit. Oh, it's very satisfying. Look, I admit I'm not a baker, but there's moments when you're doing something with this that you just feel like maybe you could be a baker. And when you've kneaded, is that right, kneaded?
Ned.
When you've knead for a couple of minutes, we wanna get this into a shape where we can cut it into 12 even pieces. So this might be my best way to do this. I'll try and make it into a log, 12 easy pieces. That was a movie, by the way, back in the olden days. Here's the goal, such as it is. Cut in half. Now this needs to be 6. Make this into a ball. All right, so now we've got this. We'll give this guy a half, and now this guy will go into thirds. And same for this one. Now that you've got them, you take one like this. Like to fold it over onto itself to make a little ball, and then the bottom we'll just mush together, kind of knot up, sort of like a belly button. And then we just do this. Put off to the side, finish them all off. Right, here we go. There's our last guy. Everybody's all generally the same size. I got a couple slightly larger. This guy's a little bigger. This guy's a little smaller, but I think we're gonna be all right. Now let's get him in our pan and everybody else in. What's Guy Fieri say, Max?
All the kids in the pool.
Right.
I'm gonna f you up, Hunter.
Jesus. Right, there we are. That's a pretty good job for a guy that doesn't bake or doesn't really like to bake. I'll now cover them with the Sam the Cooking Guy towel. Stick them in a warm spot, 15 minutes, we'll be back. And after 15 minutes, they look like that. Look at them, you chubby little guys, you grew. Perfect. This is an egg that's been beaten with a tablespoon of milk. I lied, tablespoon of cream. I like the richness. And now we'll do our best at brushing everybody. Take your time, try not to poke them like I just did. And if you can get all the way around them, get all the way around them. And if you can't, then who's gonna cry about it? Not me. And you don't know this, but I do. More stuff will go on top, so don't freak out if it's not perfect. The oven's at 400, they're going in for 15 minutes. Well, look who came out pretty darn beautiful. Love them. All right, we let these guys cool, and when they are, we can start to build our funeral sandwiches. Remember this kid? It's 24 hours ago. We cooked him, we let him cool, I wrapped him, I put him in the fridge, and now he's ready to be sliced. A little bit of juice in there, that's okay. Nice, nice. Oh God, it smells so good. All right, dry him off, and that's our guy. Let's just cut right in the middle and see what we've got, shall we? Wow, look at that. It's beautiful. It's exactly everything that I wanted it to be. That is deli roast beef. So tell you what, let's slice up a bunch, shall we? And to do that, we get to use our slicer that we don't use very often. Here's what we do. I had to take a little piece off this end because it wouldn't fit. And now it fits. Let's see how thin we want these guys, shall we? How's that look?
Fucking great.
I'm having a fucking bite. You know what that is? It's a, you tell me what this is. That's
Roast beef.
insane deli roast beef, $3.59 a pound. All right, I like that thickness.
The best roast beef I've ever had.
It's insane, right? $3.59 a pound. All right, just slice up a shit ton. Might as well finish off this little piece, and that should be enough. Beautiful. All right, look at that stack. I'd like a couple pounds of the roast beef, thinly sliced. You have a nice medium rare. Oh, I think we can help you with that. That's some gorgeousness. Holy S. Let's start prepping our buns. There they are, cooled and looking beautiful. I'm quite proud of myself, but we don't want them like this, we want to cut them. So I'm gonna take them out gently. I need to cut these this way. And I'm convinced if I do all 12 at once, some are gonna be jigged and jagged and be terrible cut. So I'm gonna break this into 2 piles of 6. And now I'll go like this. There's no way if I did all of them at the same time, it would come out anywhere even close to being decent. So here's what we do. We take our lids. These guys now go in like that. A couple things happen. The first is some mayo. There's gonna be cheese, there's gonna be stuff. It's gonna be delicious, but for me, just a little smear of mayo is gonna make me happy. And a little grainy mustard. Just a little hit, just a little bite. All righty then, it's cheese time. And I have white American. White American, white American. He was a white American all night. Anybody? David Bowie. His song though was Young American. Everybody gets covered, and now guess who? Now this kid, this business. I think just like a random setup of all this is gonna be good. I'm not laying them out. I want a little bit of height. So if they're a little bit squirrely like this, they're gonna be good. Just let me remind you, $3.59 a pound, plus my labor, of course, which makes it now $200 a pound. But to buy this in the store for 3-4 times the price, it hurts. I don't think I would want to do that. And I weighed, and this is about a pound that I've sliced off here. Let's hit it with another layer of the cheese. You don't have to get quite so crazy on this layer. Our lids, come on like this. This is a stick of butter that we're gonna add to. We're gonna put in about a tablespoon of garlic paste. We're gonna give it a couple tablespoons of horseradish. Horseradish, roast beef, are you kidding? It's a match made in food heaven. About a tablespoon of Cholula for just a little topside heat. Tablespoon of soy, and I'm using soy paste. And about a half a tablespoon of Worcestershire for a little tang. Some parsley, chopped, a couple tablespoons, tablespoon of olive oil, and we mix. And this we will now brush very generously over the top. We're not going to use it all. We're going to save some for when it gets uncovered in the oven. But right now we do this. In the funeral sandwich world, you would now cover this, put it in your fridge, and leave it an hour, 2 hours, 24 hours. But I'm gonna be a renegade, I'm not going to. I'm gonna cover them with foil, put them in the oven, give them 15, 20 minutes. Take the foil off, brush them again, give them another 10. And then you know what we do. Oh yes, then we eat. By the way, have you subscribed to the channel yet? Because we're giving away a Sam the Cooking Guy 7-inch Nakiri knife every video between now and the end of the year. But you have to be a subscriber. Watch or listen for your name to be mentioned. And if it is, reach out to us at info@thecookingguy.com. We'll verify you. And if you are who you say you are, you'll get one of these. Otherwise, you get one of these. We don't care where you live. Would we send one to Timbuktu? Chance!
Of course. Where's Timbuktu from? Tim, your knife's coming.
Foil, 20 minutes. You'll see when they come out when we brush again. And we're there. Let's see what we got. Oh boy, oh boy. Man. how pretty those are. And I can smell the horseradish from here. And by the way, if you think horseradish was unnecessary, oh, it is not unnecessary. It's the best. Okay, one more wipe. A little bit on top of everybody. Make them a little yummier. Then they're going back in, maybe another 10 minutes. Want all the cheese to melt. Then we feast. And voila. Look at these guys. Oh, look at the meltiness. We made that. We made the roast beef. We built it. We put it together. You know the only thing that's missing? A funeral. We need a funeral. So let's take one of these kids out, shall we? Oh.
Damn.
Holy snap. Well, I guess I try and take a bite of this guy. How am I gonna do that? Oh, it's gonna be hot. Oh, good. Oh, do you see what's happening here? This crispy cheese here, the meltiness, the roast beef. Here I go, wish me luck. I'm a little scared about the heat, because look it. Oh, but I want it now while it's cheesy, melty, gooey. Literally one of the best sliders I've ever had, if you call it a slider. Best funeral sandwich I've ever had, because I've never had them. I've had a lot of sliders. It's unbelievable. Louis, you okay, buddy? Oh my God. Horseradish, key. The roast beef, yes, what have we learned? You can buy it, but you should make it. Buns, fantastic. The brioche is amazing in this. It's messy, it's gooey. It's a hell of a mess to eat, but that's the way food should be sometimes, right? It's a tactile sport is what it is. All right, thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget, we're giving away a Sam the Cooking Guy 7-inch Nakiri knife every video this year. So, what do? You have to be a subscriber. You have to watch to see or hear your name. And when you do, reach out to us at info@thecookingguy.com. We'll figure out you're the right person and get you a knife. It's that simple. It is that darn simple.